Hello, this is Fear Dragon, and welcome to Breaking Out, the show about North American StarCraft 2 players. Here on this show, we take a look at an up-and-coming North American talent. Each week, we check out a new player to get a feel for their personality and their playstyle. On Thursday, we interview the player to find out more about who they are and why you should care about them. On Friday, we watch 3 of their games as we cover their playstyle in each of the 3 matchups. Saturday, we take a look at an awesome game they played and relax with a little bit of fun as we recap the week and get an analysis of the games. Breaking Out will cover 8 players before it culminates into the Breakout Invitational. With a minimum prize pool of $1,000, we find out who is the most likely player to break out of the North American scene. But enough of that. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Hope you guys enjoy the show.
Game resumed.
Hello, this is Fear Dragon, and welcome to Breaking Out, the show about North American StarCraft 2 players that you need to know about. Today on the show, we're going to be covering the PvZ from the final week of Breaking Out, the week of NaYa from Prometheus Gaming at the moment. Today I'm joined here with Boisterous SC2. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing very well, Fear Dragon. Very well.
Is that it? You're not gonna derail me?
I'm not gonna derail you, Fear Dragon. I'm feeling like it's the last week of Breaking Out. It's time to celebrate and not derail.
Oh, thank you, Boisterous. Let's go ahead and jump in and introduce the players as we spawn up here in the top right-hand corner of the map habitation station. On top of the red Zerg player representing Team Gravity, not the highlight player of the week, but was the highlight player of last week. It is Gravity's Kratos.
And up here in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent, one of the cheesiest players on the ladder. It is Prometheus Gaming's NaYa.
And it's interesting because you just mentioned like something that, yeah, NaYa definitely has a reputation that he's built up of either cheesing or maybe even being a little bit bad-mannered in certain situations. But the thing is, I've also seen NaYa play out some nice macro games, and he really does like to mix it up. But I mean, what are you expecting to see in this game?
Sorry, I'm just laughing at your comment about a little bad-mannered.
A little bit bad.
Little bad-mannered. He can be a little bit.
Occasionally, it happens.
It's not much. But I don't know. I mean, he's like having a public perception thing right now, like in this game and in this week. So I think we're just gonna see macro games all week, because as I theorized with you earlier, I believe that anyone that cheeses and then sends their games into shows like this, they want to be seen as someone who doesn't cheese, to give like their opponents on ladder like a second of
doubt, like,
of doubt.
Man,
like,
well, maybe they won't do it. I mean, I saw them play some macro games.
And then he just goes and talks and hears down from the mountain the great prophet, and he just 10 gates and then wins the game.
Protoss bullshit. No, but in all seriousness, like I kind of have to agree with you. Like I have noticed this tendency of players who don't necessarily cheese all the time. Like I think Hello Kitty was a great example from Breaking Out Season 1. He is known for going for really, really all-in-ish kind of builds against his opponents. He can definitely play out really, really strong macro games. Like, seriously, go watch Hello Kitty in a macro game. It's actually kind of scary also. But he would submit like a bunch of macro games. He didn't send any kind of like early aggression. Or I think he sent like in one early aggression game, but that was a PvP. So it was sort of interesting to see how these players kind of choose what games to submit. But I mean, Kratos, he's already kind of poking across the map with these 2 Zerglings. What are we seeing out from NaYa right now, Boisterous?
Currently, NaYa is just going for a gateway into a Nexus kind of fast expand type build. And now he's going to be moving into walling off the low ground. There are a couple of very annoying Zerglings here who are actually doing a significant amount of damage to the pylon, but the Mothership Core should be able to clean them up before they actually manage to kill it off, so they're going to have to run home now. It looks like we do have a gateway, a secondary gateway on the way. The Cybernetics Core is just about halfway done with Warp Gate, and Kratos is actually going up to 4 Queens right now.
Yeah, Kratos does really like to do that sort of safer style and get to the late game.
Yeah.
Where he can be a little bit more aggressive, but yeah, double gas being thrown down kind of a little bit early for Kratos, but I guess he is concerned about the fact that his opponent went for the gateway opening. And I think the fact that he just saw the way that those gateways at the front were probably going to be positioned, he saw that pylon over there, and that usually is a good reveal that, hey, my opponent might be going for some early Zealot aggression. So I think that's a pretty good identification for Kratos, and that's exactly what NaYa is doing. He has 4 gateways, a 4th gateway hidden in his main base. He's going to be going for some 4 gateway pressure.
Hmm. And I actually really like this build against Zerg players, especially Zerg players that tend to be more of the macro players, because they typically don't make a lot of Zerglings, and they're not prepared to make a lot of Zerglings specifically. I think Kraos is sensing this, like his Protoss bullshit meters are just going off the chart right now.
Definitely.
So he's preparing for it. He has the Roachborn on the way. He has 4 Zerglings on the way. He's probably going to be taking the Zelnaga Tower and being ready for this. Plus the fact that he just scouted the 2 proxy pylons, not bad.
Oh, actually, one of them gets canceled. I was gonna say, I actually kind of like the fact that if you're gonna throw down proxy pylons in front of the Zerg Overlord, you might as well throw down 2 just to make sure it doesn't get sniped off, right? Because then it's like, even if they know where it is, what are they really gonna do about it? But now the Zealots are gonna be charging it over here. Mothership Core actually taking out a lot of damage. NaYa has to be careful with that.
Yeah, that was actually really close for NaYa. I'm surprised he let that Mothership Core take so much damage, but the Time Warp is thrown down, and he is able to pull back. It looks like he is going to be going for a lot of pressure here on the 3rd. That Mothership Core is going to have to play really, really defensively now. He might be able to kill off this 3rd. We have another 4 Zealots on the way, but at the same time, we have Roaches coming in from Kraos, and these Roaches should be able to defend this quite well. I do believe he will have to cancel out this hatchery, which he's definitely gonna... Oh my god, he did it! Kraos! With the Bengal!
With the really big mistake over there. I mean, losing 300 minerals this early on in the game, especially when you're committing your economy this hard to just defense. I mean, you can see he's sitting at 33 drones, and in the meanwhile, NaYa's actually, honestly enough, been making probes behind this. He sort of delayed his tech, but he's going to be going up to a double Stargate now, and he still has all those Zealots alive. I have to say that NaYa is sitting in a really comfortable position right now.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, we finally have Kraos managing to cancel that hatchery, and the Mothership Core does go down. So now NaYa kind of needs to... He can't commit hard to an attack because there's no recall. If he's going to commit hard, he's going to lose everything. He's coming in for another snipe off, and a cancel goes down yet again, and NaYa just being incredibly annoying with this Zealot pack.
I am a little bit concerned, though, because if he loses all these Zealots, I mean, he committed to making more probes back at home. He's getting up this double Stargate, which I guess is going to be his main defense, but you really have to get out as many units as possible, as fast as possible. I guess I would have been concerned a little bit for NaYa if those Roaches just kind of went across the map and tried to do some damage, but I guess it's going to end up working out as he does manage to delay those Roaches from doing so with those Zealots. Yeah,
I mean, with 2 Void Rays on the way, I mean, the only real feasible pressure that Kraos could put on would be with Roaches, and with double Void Ray on the way, it's pretty easy to shut down Roach pressure.
That's actually a really fair point. And, you know, with that being said, NaYa now sitting at a solid 52 probes. Yeah, Kraos just kind of droned up like a madman, went up to 53 drones. But he's really, really far behind in tech. I mean, his lair tech is finished up. He doesn't actually have anything to do that he's done with it yet, though. And he's barely even really started to mine beyond those initial 2 gas geysers.
Yeah, and this is going to be really annoying for Kraos. I kind of want him to take a 4th base now just because he kind of has to go hard or go home. Because NaYa is really quite far ahead. I mean, he's taken the gold base already, and I feel like there's absolutely no way Kraos can punish this. Like, he can try, but there's 4 Void Rays out on the map, excuse me, already, with 2 in production at any point in time. I just don't see it happening for him. And honestly, I think that he really should just take that 4th base.
Yeah, I think that right now he's trying to play it a little bit safe. He's getting up that Hydralisk Den. He's just making sure that he doesn't die to any kind of immediate push out, especially after seeing the fact that NaYa actually has a pretty scary army, and especially with those sentries mixed in. Sentries plus Void Rays, that could actually be really, really annoying to deal with. So I can't really blame Kraos too much for just delaying his 4th expansion a little bit and making sure that he gets up the Hydralisk, because we do actually end up seeing a push out now.
Yeah, and this push is going to be a little bit dangerous. We do have 5 Hydralisks currently. No, 3. Oh, man. Undercounted that one. But another 7 on the way. So he will be up to 10 by the time this attack actually hits. And that should be a fair count, considering the fact that the bulk of this army is really just in 5 Void Rays.
Yeah, that's actually kind of interesting. It looks like NaYa just playing it a little bit safe. He doesn't want to overcommit with anything yet. So he's just moving around with his Voiders, looking for free Overlords and stuff to kill off. And he has that Mothership Core that's going to have recall in a second, just readily available in case he just gets into a bit of a bangle, you might say, a bad angle.
A bad engagement angle, Fear Dragon, please.
A bad engagement angle. Yep, and there's the recall, as looks like he saw that the Hydrals were coming over. But, I mean, at this point, where are we standing? Kratos has had actually a decent amount of time to at least get up his 3rd expansion.
Yep, and he's going for his 4th now.
But NaYa has a gold, and I mean, just beyond the fact that a Zerg player normally wants to be a base ahead, a gold expansion is going to make this very, very difficult for Kratos to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know, this gold is so interesting to me in this game, just because, like, if your opponent gets the gold early, then they're going to mine it out early. So they'll be able to put, like, really good pressure on for, like, the first 12 minutes, and then they're going to be done, because those gold bases mine out fast. Like, really, really fast. Because they have less minerals than your average thing. Your average mineral patches have 8 times 1,500. Whereas these have 6 times 1,500, and they mine out faster because you mine more minerals from them. So you kind of get like a really nice hit in the arm whenever you take that gold base, but it can be super useful late game at the same time as early game, because in the late game, like, you're ending up trading armies a lot of the time. So it can be important to be able to just have a ton of minerals to just make Zerglings and go for the kill. And, you know, I don't know. I think if NaYa can put on some pressure with it, it can be useful, but I'm not seeing that.
Oh, NaYa actually drops 3 Zealots with the War Prism over the main base, but the double Sparkler, a really nice placement actually over there from Kratos, does manage to clean up the War Prism. 3 Zealots, they managed to kill off a handful of those drones, but not too much damage is really able to be done. The 4th Zealot did get dropped at the gold base, just kind of waiting there and ready to deny any kind of drones that try and take that gold expansion. But I mean, it's a really weird situation now, because I feel like NaYa's just getting this nigh unkillable army, but he's also given Kratos a lot of time to take up this 4th expansion. Very soon he could take that 5th expansion, and he's sitting on a solid 70 drones. It's going to be the unkillable Protoss Death Army versus an incredibly potentially strong economy, but I think that Kratos is just sticking around on Roach Hydralisk for now, and I'm not sure if that's going to work out against this army.
So long as the Colossus switch isn't that hard, which it doesn't look like it possibly can be. I mean, he can get maybe 4 Colossi with his current supply count. This army can actually work out pretty well, because those 4 Colossi aren't going to be that strong, and we do still have Swarm Hosts on the way. I believe he's moving up to 10 Swarm Hosts currently, which is a powerful Swarm Host base. And he has creep everywhere, Fear Dragon. Everywhere.
He really does. This is something that's beautiful about Kratos. He loves to get up his creep spread. He loves to just get up any kind of positional base advantages, whether it be through extra movement speed or extra vision range. That's definitely the kind of player that Kratos is. But, you know, NaYa, he's getting up more and more Colossus, and I think that the Swarm Hosts are going to be an interesting decision, because we have Swarm Hosts don't really enjoy the company of Colossus very much, and Hydralisks that don't really enjoy the company of Colossus very much. This could end up being a very awkward situation for Kratos.
Yeah, especially with these 3 Tempests on the way. Now for NaYa, he does have like triple Tempest production. He's going a little bit crazy, and we just saw him cull a large portion of his Zealot army to be able to facilitate more of these heavier, higher tech units. But the main issue here is that he actually doesn't really have a base for his army. I mean, his ground army is 3 Stalkers and 5 Sentries currently, and that's it. That's his buffer. So if this sort of Hydra army can get underneath his army, he's going to be in a bad spot, but it's going to be all up to him to kind of not take direct engagements, just have positioning wars, because that's where Tempests really shine.
Oh, definitely. And we're going to have to see how this engagement actually ends up going, because now we're end up seeing the Voidries trying to take out those Swarm Hosts. I mean, they do a pretty good job of it, even a Force Field kind of going down, making sure that he doesn't lose any of those ground units. But I think the Infestors are going to be so critical for Kratos' aggression over here. He's going to really want to make sure he can get the maximum damage of those fungal growths, but not lose the Infestors. Ooh. I mean, sick fungal growth, but I'm not sure if it was worth it. You can't really follow it up.
Yeah, and this is the danger with Tempests. We now have a Tempest actually moving forward and sacrificing itself to the greater Zerg cause, but it looks like we might have an engagement happening here. These Swarm Hosts are just going to be super annoying, but I think there's too many Colossi to actually allow them to really force an engagement like they normally would like to. So instead, you're kind of just going to have an awkward spot right here.
Oh, War Prism dropping the main base.
Oh, that's actually really good for NaYa. NaYa suddenly doing a whole ton of damage. If he can manage to take out some tech, this could be a serious movement for him, and it looks like we are going to have a lot of roaches being produced in the natural to actually take this back. But the main engagement has occurred, and the main engagement went horribly for NaYa. That was just a solid bangle from him. And we have Kratos actually dropping in supply hard.
Yeah, NaYa definitely got a really solid engagement over there, and he's doing a lot of damage over in the main base. I mean, he's trying to focus fire down the hive, which those zealots will get cleaned up, but in the meanwhile, he's moving it over here. He picks up a bunch of those swarmos, some pretty, you know, earlier there were some good force fields. Those force fields actually just block out the majority of his army. But I mean, NaYa just has this unkillable army right now, and Kratos is trying to macro up some sort of answer, but every single time those infestors try to get close to fungal growth, those void rays, either the Colossus or the Tempest just start picking them off one by one.
Yeah, and I don't know, I'm like trying to figure out how Kratos can actually fight against this, but there's just so many void rays. Like, I'd say maybe Corruptors could help out, but like, Corruptors don't do great versus void rays. I think... I think in an army like this, the only thing he can do is like Mutalisks, but that's just so counterintuitive. You know, I don't know if it would work.
I would actually love Mutalisks right now.
Yeah.
I think those would actually be great, because I mean, Mutalisks actually trade relatively cost effectively with Void Rays, and also Colossus. I mean, Tempest, that should do pretty well. These are not the Tempests that we were promised at the early alpha days of Heart of the Swarm, where they're like three-shotting giant clumps of Mutalisks. No, this
God.
They attack very slowly, and they don't do any high splash damage. They're single target.
Yeah. I mean, I like I said, I would love to see Mutalisks, but I don't think a lot of players would go Mutalisks in this situation. Like, it wouldn't even come into their mind, which is kind of a major issue, because now we have him up at 20 Corruptors, getting even higher, 21 now, and 21 Corruptors is going to get shredded by that amount of Void Rays.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a scary situation. I will say that base-wise, I kind of like Kratos' situation better. He still has this gold expansion. It's kind of like what you said. It's like a shot in the arm, where, I mean, you can see that NaYa's shot in the arm is actually about to expire, but oh, hold this thought. We might actually have a big engagement coming down. The Colossus, the Void Rays, the Tempest just cleaning up creep right now. And oh, Kratos gonna lose a lot of his queens!
That is not great, but we have this engagement coming down. We have...
GG get called!
Alright, I was gonna go into shot calling mode. And then Kratos just... I feel kind of blue. I feel kind of like blue-balled right now, Fear Dragon.
I mean, I feel like we just got teased of an engagement, and it just...
Dude, we did.
And then Kratos is just like, this isn't gonna work. And I can't blame him. I don't think that was gonna work out. I mean, you could see, in a matter of seconds, just some really nice force fields by NaYa managed to trap around like 5 or 6 of the queens that were just a little bit too far forward. And those queens are gonna actually would have been absolutely enormous help, because those help out with some nice long-range damage on the Void Rays from a slightly safer distance, as well as also, I mean, be able to lay down transfuses, etc. on Corruptors. I don't know, man. It's a hard thing to try and deal with this kind of army that NaYa managed to get up.
Yeah, I feel kind of craft blocked still. Like, even besides all of this, like, I wanted to see these Corruptors get absolutely destroyed by an army of Void Rays. I wanted the laser Spear Dragon. I wanted them.
Team Laser, man. But I have to say that NaYa did a pretty good job of getting to this point in the game. I think that's the big story from this game, is how he kind of played this out with that. He opened up with a 4-gate early aggression with his Zealots, and he really shut down Kratos' early to mid-game.
Yeah.
And then he knew how to transition out perfectly from it. He got up the double Stargates and really started cranking out the Voiders. And he's continued to be active on the map with the Voiders, picking off whatever he could without really overcommitting. And he realized, like, okay, well, I have identified my opponent isn't, like, going for fast fourth expansions or anything. So I'm just going to take the gold expansion. And everything just kind of flowed in naturally, I guess, for NaYa. And it made a lot of sense. So really well done by NaYa.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, but with that being said, guys, as we almost had a 3-3 air army. I'm a little bit sad, because if we did have a 3-3 air army, I would have started singing. But that is going to put an end to it. So looks like NaYa from Prometheus Gaming going to be taking the PvZ. But with that being said, we're going to move on to the next game, which is going to be our Protoss versus Terran. If you're watching this over on Twitch, don't go anywhere. We're just going to go to a short intermission and be right back. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and find that game. We will see you guys in just a little bit.